Welcome back. Now, a place to go when you might need it the most. The Cocoon provides shelters to survivors of domestic violence, survivors of sexual assault, survivors of stalking, and actually much more. And it's not only just a place to stay. The organization actually does a lot more. So I've got Kathy Mull here from the Cocoon to talk a little bit more about what exactly you all are doing. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us today. What are you guys doing?
We are very busy. That's the first piece. Yes, so we just, October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so we obviously just ended October. And so we've been out a lot talking about the services that we provide to survivors in the community. And the thing that we are probably most well known for is our emergency shelter. So, you know, talking about a safe place to go, that we provide emergency safe haven for individuals who feel like they can no longer safely stay in the home. And so we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to make sure that when people need sort of that in-between stop between leaving an unsafe situation and then hopefully moving into something that's going to be much more safe, stable, and permanent, that we can provide that space for them.
Now, when folks think about the Cocoon, when they think sometimes about domestic violence, it's unfair because the first thing they think, well, you chose this. You chose this partner. And then sometimes not understanding their situation, they might go back. And then there's this vitriol, this shaming, this blaming that comes with it. So how do you kind of navigate that, especially with survivors who are maybe trying, you know, to go one way or the other?
Definitely, and you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the number one thing that we hear from survivors is that, you know, when they reach out for support or are asking for support, they don't always get it, because our instinct a lot of times is to make judgments or to place blame, instead of saying, you know, I'm really sorry to hear that that's happening to you. How can I help you? What is it that you need? And so a lot of the work that we do with survivors in the community is first and foremost letting them know that we have advocates available 24/7 that they can call and talk to start to process what's happening to them, to start to ask some questions, discuss what their options are, so that they can hopefully find that place of peace as they start to answer some of those questions.
We've been very intentionally gender neutral in this because, again, it's not just women, though, of course, that was always the thought. No, a little bit more we focus on, but anybody can be a victim, correct?
Absolutely. And so, yeah, men, women, children, unfortunately. And that's one of the things that was important to us with our services is that all survivors can access those services. So whether they're accessing our 24/7 hotline, whether they're staying with us in shelter. So we house single women in our shelter, we house single men, we have survivors who are coming with their children. The other piece that I think is really important to mention too is that we are one of the few shelters across the country that allow survivors to bring their animals with them too.
Oh.
So when you think about how many people are affected when there's domestic violence occurring in the home, you know, it's all the way down to those family pets.
Now, when folks think about, like you said, reaching out, what if I'm just scared? Because what if he says he'll change. She said she'll stop hitting me and things will get better. Should I fight the thought that maybe this time will be different? Because, you know, some people do change. We can't assume that, you know, people don't change or people don't get better. But I'm struggling with this one.
Sure, and I think you're absolutely right. Every survivor is going to go on their own journey. And our goal is to have an advocate that can walk with them through that journey. So while they're asking those questions, while they're trying to make those decisions about, yeah, do I give my partner, you know, an opportunity to show me that they're changing? Or have I done that enough and many times and realized that that's probably not going to be the case? You know, our goal is to make sure that survivors are safe. And so working with an advocate to help put plans in place while they're making that really difficult decision to decide whether or not to stay or leave. We know that leaving is the most dangerous time for survivors, and so we want to make sure that that's a well thought out plan as survivors are making that really difficult decision.
Is there any way that as community members, because, you know, it is a blessing to find someone who is kind to you, who respects your space, and if they say, I want to leave, do your own thing, you know, we can part amicably. But is there anything that other community members who aren't going to be part of the survivor's journey can we do as a community to help the Cocoon?
Yeah, definitely. And so first and foremost is just helping to spread the word. And we know that there are survivors out there that are suffering in silence, are not sure where to turn for help. And we want to make sure that everybody knows that our advocates are available 24/7 to start having those conversations with survivors to put plans in place. You know, also, you know, we we rely a lot on the community for financial support. So whether that's, cash donations, whether that's gift cards to help families with things like groceries, gas in their vehicle, those things that are going to help them become more stable, is really, those things allow us to continue to be able to provide all of our services at no cost for survivors in the community.
And I know you guys are based in Wood County. Of course, we have the information up right now if you definitely need it. Again, 419-373-1730, extension 1002. But just because you're based in Wood County, here in Lucas County, can I still reach out to help? Like, who do you serve mostly, or who should I look to for help?
Yeah, so we primarily serve individuals that are in the Wood County community, but we will definitely support survivors wherever they are, because what we know is that sometimes it's easier to reach out for help in a place that's a little farther from home, or sometimes I need to get farther away from home. And so we encourage anybody to call that 24/7 hotline and start the conversation.
It's scary, it's hard, but it is worth it, definitely, if you need the assistance, correct?
Definitely, absolutely, yes.
Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, again, you saw the information there on your screen. If you need the help, they're there, they're available 24/7.
Yes.
All right, then we will be right back.